Magic the Gathering, at its very core, is a game. I know. Some of us forget that often. And really, it's supposed to be fun. There's different ways to have fun. You can be competitive fun. You can just have goofy fun. But at the end of the day, it is a game. So when CEDH and EDH become not fun, how do we solve that problem, Maddie? We're going to go over that today and try to figure out how we have fun at the game that we love so much.
Welcome back to Midweek Meta, guys. I'm your host, Maddie, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Chris. All right, Chris, what's going on? We're talking about we're talking about fun. What's fun in CEDH? There's a lot we're going to discuss, but before we get into that, what's new, man? What's going on? What's some brews? We got some cool play mats. You got some cool accessories. The holidays just happened. Talk to me, man.
I'm working on something big. Stick around, and you're going to find out soon enough. Really excited about some things coming down the pipeline. How about you, Maddie?
Nothing too crazy. Still just trying to tune up that Abzan deck you see on the channel every so often. Then definitely trying to make Captain America work. Those are my two kind of decks I'm playing with. But other than that, why don't we talk about CDH and why it's fun to us? If you're down for that.
Yeah, I love CDH. Why do you love CDH opposed to EDH or any other format?
Well, of course, I love the Monarch Consultation Thassa's Oracle, dog. That's my favorite two-card combo. Favorite thing. Always.
We all do, man. That's the only reason why we play this.
It absolutely is. If I can't see that in a game, it wasn't worth playing. It's not fun. It's not worth it. It's not a game I want to play. But no, my big thing about I love CDH, and call back to our original episode of mid-range. It's the competitive aspect. I'm here to play to my fullest, and you're not going to get upset that I do Thassa's Demonic in turn 1. I do a crazy combo turn 1. I do kill you turn 1 with the combat. There's all these crazy things. It's just it's understanding that we're playing No Hulls Bard, but we're also in the frame of EDH. I guess Arena's perfect for this. So standard, you can play just unranked, and then you can play ranked. Well, what's the difference between EDH is unranked, isn't it? Isn't that what normal EDH is unranked? It's just having fun playing, and then we're playing the ranked version. So that's just my fun, but that's definitely why I find CEDH is fun. It's just playing to the fullest. What about you, Chris? What about you? What do you find fun about CEDH? Why do you keep coming back?
So the reason why EDH is because it's a 4-person format. It is something that I'm not used to whatsoever. Being a 60-card kind of guy and being competitive in that the majority of my Magic career, really, when it comes down to it, this is unique. It is different than I've ever had to deal with. There's skills that I didn't think I needed, and I'm working from the very bottom and working my way up. I am no professional at this whatsoever, but it is fun to work on different skill sets that I generally don't use on like one-on-one kind of format. So that's one reason why I really like CEDH. It's the top notch of it, but it's unique and it's different and it's very challenging, in my opinion.
It's just playing the 4-player person. We can all grab 4 precons, sleeve them up, and well, even depending on the precon, we could riffle shuffle the precon, but it's that playing with friends, that social aspect of this. Don't get me wrong, a good 1v1 is fine, but yo man, burn your stuff here to save us here. I won't attack you for 2 turns. You can't do that in 1v1. They're just gonna attack you or burn. They're not gonna do it. That doesn't happen. So yeah, that's definitely why I find it more fun. While you're playing CEDH, what parts of CEDH are fun to you? Like, I'll give an example. I love drawing cards. Just pulling cards off the top, so much fun. Like, it doesn't even have to be. It can be. It sucks when it lands. It really does. But I love drawing cards. CEDH, we draw cards to win, and I enjoy that. You don't get judged across the table. Like I'm like, oh, I'm drawing 7 cards. And everyone's like, oh, he's playing competitive. Well, yeah, we're all playing competitive here. That's what we're here to do. Sure. You don't get that judgment. So I enjoy that. What about you, Chris? What's something in CEDH besides the big aspect of it?
Sure. So the interesting thing is, once again, a 60-card format kind of analogy, because that's I hope some people play and understand, and maybe will come over this way. And the biggest thing is that no game is the same. With it all being singleton as it is, there is not like, cool, I have 4 of these and 4 of these, and I'm just looking for these things, and I'm winning my game. I'm just playing burn spell after burn spell. I'm just going to get, Primeval Titan and winning the game with double strike and haste and all that fun jazz. Like, no 2 games are the same, especially when it's singleton, when there's so many different commanders. We talked about it on an early episode or the top percentage used to be about, 24 decks used to be about 86%, and now it's like 56% of the top 24 decks. So the meta is kind of a little bit more open. There's more decks that are being played at a higher tier. So the more likely I'm going to see different decks, and it changes all the different time. To make a long point short, I enjoy the variety of the games not being stale and changing up every game that I sit down next to.
I definitely agree with that. That is definitely something I enjoy in this. Like you said, the singleton aspect of it. So I'm not finding my four pieces, my 400 breaches, or it's you actually got to build these. And this is what kind of ties into mine. The crazy 8 to 10 piece combos. That Root Goldberg machine. That's this does this to this, triggers this, and this. It's just enjoyment. That's when I'm playing CEDH. Yes, I'm playing competitively, but I can also find fun decks. It's where we kind of get those fringe. But yeah, we have our top, our really Kennen, Magda, Rocco, Thasios, Timna, Blue Farm. We have those decks we can play, yeah, but occasionally we want to mix it up. Occasionally we want to play those more obscure, okay, wait, what's he, where do I interact? And you miss the point. That's the best part. When someone's like, oh, interact here, like, okay, I trigger this, and this instead. And you're like, oh, wait, I just wasted. Yeah, you did. I enjoyed that. So
we want to hear from you guys down in the comments. Why do you enjoy EDH, CDH, or whatever format that you play the most? Let us know down in the comments. But we can get on the not so fun part of what makes EDH, CDH, a game in general in Magic, not fun. Maddie, what makes a game for you not fun? And how do you really deal with that?
We're doing a lot of memory lane here, callbacks, deal breaking. That's as soon as someone breaks a deal, the atmosphere is ruined. It's done. Even if it's not with me, if it could be with you and somebody else. It means there's a liar at the table. And like, don't get me wrong, there's things that happen, things pivot, things change. But if you say you're not going for a win and then you win, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna have fun with that table. I will give that a frowny face like Arena tells me to. So that's my opinion. Deal breaking. Don't do that. It just instantly ruins the move. What about you, Chris? What's something unfun to you?
I keep comparing the competitive scene from 60 card to this, but it really is. In 60 card, it's stone cold face. You don't give any bluffs. The real thing with CEDH is when there's an aggressive player, overly aggressive. There's good games. There's good sportsmanship. It's when someone's too aggressive and they're like, pass, or they're like, oh, I got you. It's like when people are just a little bit too much. I get that you want to be able to follow rules and there's money on the line, but when there's an excess of aggression, that's what makes the game not fun for me at all. And I think people, even in EDH, aggressive people just aren't fun to play against when it's not competitive. It's definitely not fun when it's competitive and they're trying to rules lawyer you and get on you. So like sometimes it's like you're not going to gain any friends by being overly aggressive. You're really not. So people are going to make deals with you. It just sours the game when people are just overly aggressive. That's my first one at least.
Definitely. I kind of want to caveat that aggressiveness, and the worst part is some people don't realize they're doing it. I want to know that really quick. Some people, like, they come from playing 60 card, and so they're used to being like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. That's cool, man. This is a little bit different. Take the step back. You have two other people you can look at. And it's a weird concept, and it's something that hopefully we talk about in another episode, is that mental swap. It's definitely something I would love to pick your brain about, because you are a 60 card person to coming to a 4-player, where my big thing has always been EDH and CDH. One thing that's unfun for me is not knowing what your deck can do or what your deck's goal is. We're all about play testing. Play test something, go for it. But know what the deck does. Goldfish it a couple times. Realize what you're looking for. Because how often have you sat down, you're like, oh, this is a good hand, but you kept a one-land hand because it had Soul Ring Talisman. And now you're out of the game because you don't draw that other green source or that other blue source. And just know what the deck needs. Know what it's going to do. That's my big thing. Is when people aren't prepared for their deck. Like you hand me Magda and say, play it. Does that make sense? Like, if you sit down to play, like, I'm playing this, if you don't give the free warning, like, I'm not saying a rule 0, oh, well, I don't know if I've never played this before, but if you say, hey, it's my first time playing this, go for it, man. It changes my expectation. But if you sit down and say, hey, we're running, we're grinding, cool. If you don't say anything and you're like, oh, I don't know what this does, and you're like, what? It was like watching a Nadu player that didn't know how to win with the advantage. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
That was not fun for me. You saw the deck online, it's so powerful. Okay, you have 60 cards in hand. Do you know what to do now? No. People just scoop. So what about you, Chris? What's another unfun thing for you? Because
something that's unfun for me is there's a lot of different commanders that are maybe not your playstyle, maybe not my playstyle. For example, we played a game on the Discord the other day. Shout out to the Discord, descriptions below, right? Come join, come play. And so I was playing Atali. Now, Atali is very different than my normal play pattern. It is do the big thing and a little bit of hope. Atali players out there, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm horribly wrong, but I just picked it up and that's my perception of it. And the biggest thing is if I do my thing, I win the game. So people are obviously going to stop me from doing my one thing. Well, I don't get to do my one thing. What does my deck do? That makes it a little bit unfun, is playing the wrong type of deck for who I am as a competitor, right? So you got to play a lot of different decks to figure out this deck is for me, this deck isn't for me, and try not to be salty. I mean, shout out to Seven out there in the Discord. He was an absolute great individual for like, hey, sorry, Chris, I had to stop you. I'm like, no, totally, totally great there. But I was salty and I felt bad about it. And I'm like, this isn't fun, and I don't want to make it unfun for other people around me because I'm like, I'm in a bad mood because I'm playing a deck that is not my play style. And I had to realize, okay, I want more interaction. I want more than just one thing. And if I don't do the thing, then I'm upset. I want to be able to do 8 different things, or at least counter, or, interact and contribute to the board state, opposed to get my Atali out, flip the right thing, go off, maybe. So that's one thing that's made it unfun for me, is just if I have the wrong archetype of deck that just doesn't suit my play style, it makes it a little bit unfun for me.
That is definitely, I can agree with that 100%. I've sat down, like, I hate to say it's Kinnan. I can't stand playing Kinnan. I don't enjoy it. Like, I love ramping up, making mana and all that fun stuff, but Kinnan is just shot. It's dead. It doesn't stay. Like, you have to burn so much to keep it alive most of the time. Especially now in the meta, but it just wasn't something I enjoyed. I appreciate how you mentioned that. Like, you're playing a new deck that you don't understand, like, you don't understand, but you're not familiar with, you're not comfortable with. So someone just had a crappy move, they got stopped on their win attempt, or we can use you as an example. When our last game with Atali, you got stopped and you got salty. You can admit that, right?
Yep, 100%. And it happens to us all.
Oh, 100%. And, well, what do you do with the vibe now? I hate to say a vibe is a thing, and especially in the EDH, CEDH pod, well, I want to keep playing and everyone wants to keep playing, but Chris is angry now. Well, what do you do? Like, and I have some ideas if you want to kind of think on that, and we're going to go.
Go for it. What do you got?
Okay. So the biggest thing is, as crappy as this, make a joke. Find light of something else. Be like, oh man, I can't see. Are we playing Ants with Commanders with Ashton's board? Because he was doing the OBS, and it just made it super small. You find something like that. It's definitely like things like that, but also a private message, or if you're on like Discord like we were, shoot a message like, hey man, you okay? You seem a little hot. You just address it. But also in the middle of the game, you can't always do that. I will admit that. You can't be like, hey, what's going on? But the biggest thing is just acknowledge them, because that's the biggest thing. I can use my own story here. We were playing a game with one of our other buddies, and he exiled one of my things, and it completely put me out. And I was at a point that I was just done, and the 2 other players had different things that could present wins. And I know my thing was scary, but once I got exiled, I was like, oh, I'm done. I have nothing else I can do. And they noticed that I was kind of checked out, and so they're like, oh, and they flashed me a card to try to help me feel better. And it did fix the mood a little bit, but it can definitely be hard. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So, what about you, Chris? What do you do? The mood got ruined. What do you do to try to fix it?
So in the mental health world, it's called reframing. Okay, say it with me, reframing. Okay, so it's taking your current situation and acknowledging facts about it and trying to, okay, well, I'm having a bad day, but I'm here with my friends. Like, trying to understand your a different motivation of why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, I'm out of the game. I'm out of the game, but can I reframe the situation and say, what can I accomplish now? Can I accomplish winning? No, I'm done. They countered my 7 mana commander 8 times. I'm done. There is no way of getting back into this game physically ever. So what do you do? Cool. Well, I want everyone else to have a good time. I'm gonna sit here, or I can just concede and leave, and that's an option, I suppose, at sorcery speed. What else can I accomplish? Well, I want to talk to Ashton. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to Seven. So instead of being bitter the entire time, like, cool, just kind of, well, I'm not doing anything. Let's just reframe. And why am I actually here? I just want to make sure everyone's having a good time. So let's chill, make some jokes, crack some stuff. Like, just change the situation of I'm here to win to I'm done with the game. I'm here to just have fun at this point in time. And it's being able to practice reframing on a daily basis definitely has a huge impact on my life, and being able to change a situation from horrible to, but we're here together. This sucks, but we're here together. So that's one thing that I like to do with or fixing the problem of not having fun is reframing the situation.
The reframing is a perfect way to look at it, and it's you joked about it like in that game. You killed yourself. That was the best part. You're like, I'm going out myself. No one's doing it, and it's just things like that. It's the little things that you can do. But Chris, we were very negative here the last little bit, and we tried to get a little silver lining. But the biggest thing is we're here to have fun, and it's a game, you guys. That's the biggest thing. Remember that we're here to have a game. We're here to have fun. It's a game. You fix the mood. You made it fun again. We're trying to make it fun again. What else can we do? Yeah, you can crack jokes. You can have a little bit of a different mentality. But what if they don't do it? Like, what if the person is just checked out? They're done. How do you fix that? Like, how do you stop that rot?
The reality is that you can't stop their mood. You can't make things better. All you can do is kind of be there for them. And at the end of the day, you're there to have a game, right? So what do you do really in order to make sure that you're having a good time if other people aren't? If the game just aren't going your way? Maddie, you want to take us off on that notion of what do you do to make the game new and fun again?
I'd look at my cards and look at the board state, and I actually start doing a little bit of a deck edit in my head. What can I change so this outcome doesn't happen? What can I change to make my experience better if I'm the unfun one? If I'm not having a good time, what can I do to make it better? You hit it right in the head. If you're playing the deck that's not you, don't play that deck again. I doubt you're going to be playing Atali again. It wasn't. I mean, maybe these Atali players are going to comment like, "Oh no, you got to do this, this, and this." You're like, "Oh, I actually like that," and you'll be for it. Maybe you will be, but it's the whole concept is take the moment and breathe. That's the biggest thing. Like reframe, like you said, but also don't let the one thing ruin the whole game. Like don't how do I say it? How do you don't let the one crappy moment taint the whole thing. Yes, it can do that, but if you pick it out like you scoop out the infection out real quick and get done of it, it's not going to ruin everybody's mood. If you say, "Oh man, I'm not doing anything. I hate this game," but then player 3 and 4 pop off, congratulate them. I know it sucks for you. Put the bitterness in your tongue and say, "Congratulations, man. You guys did awesome. That was dope. How did you do that?" Take it about something else. Completely take what you've lost to, or say player 2 is the moody one, not happy. Be like, "Oh, dude, check that out, dude. How'd you think of that line?" Change the subject. Just completely change it. And that can change the mood. Because you pull it out, like you said, reframing. You reframed it. No one's looking at the crap anymore. You're not looking at "Oh, dude, look at how he assembled the 3-piece combo over here. Now he's not winning, but he's going to kill the guy that is going to win." So it's just kind of cool. That's my opinion. So
At the end of the day, you have a 25% chance of winning. You're statistically not going to win that much. If your only goal is to win, you're going to have a bad time. I've done it for tournaments, like I have to win, I have to win, I have to win. No, there's a lot more things to do than just win. Supporting your group at a tournament is huge, right? Being there and being able to talk them through a bad game, or, "Hey, I lost this game." It's like, cool, let's talk through why you lost the game. I was watching and this, and this. Like, "Oh, dude, you're absolutely right. I had the win line, I didn't even see it," right? Supporting your group. There's other things such as getting better at mulligans, getting better at your politics. There's a lot of different aspects to the game that you can get better at that don't revolve around winning. It's all about incremental increases and what can you control. 25% of the time you're going to win. The other 75% is a lot of times you're not going to win. That's insane. That's insane. We are a game about not winning the majority of the time. Who plays a game that has those kind of odds? Us. Being able to reframe during a single game is big, but what if you're just on a bad streak? You're just on a time where, like, game after game, you're just being salty over and over again. What do you really do to refresh CEDH? Not just the game, but the format as a whole when you are just down and out and burnt out from it?
that one's a hard one. I think I've had to have a couple, like, not a hard burnout. I kind of get this way where I'm like, "Oh, I'm done playing this deck." I get burned out from that. But one thing I like to do is go back to something I played before. I hate to say it, Watsy, you release enough products for us. I can go back to a deck that I played. I hate to say Atraxa. I could pull Atraxa back out and rebuild it. And it's going to be different than the tracks I was playing a year ago.
Sure.
It's a different deck now. It's going to be a different concept, and or another thing is to change it up. Ask a friend, hey man, what do you think I should run? I was at that point with you. I couldn't decide after I got done with the track, so what I wanted to run. I was so like bored, and you recommended Kenrith.
I think I recommended Rocco.
Was it you or Nate?
I think I recommended Rocco.
Yeah, you recommended. Yeah, it was Nate on that one. Yeah. I had Rocco. I just was at a point where I was like, I don't know what to do with the 4 or 5 colors with the Gila. So no, but you recommend a deck, and you're like, oh, I don't know if that's for me. But then you start looking at it, and it can definitely change. It's like I'm not gonna recommend Tali to you, Chris. It's I hate to say it's awesome. Like the Tali's cool, but that's not the way you play, Chris. You want to play the Grixis, the Esper, the Bam. The control side, you wanna say, oh no, I'll say when you can draw a card. I'll say when you can play a creature, and that's. But if you said, hey man, I need something new, I think I'd give you a monocolored deck. I'd be like, here, play this.
Sure.
It's just something that's completely different of you, and if you don't like it after game one, cool, get rid of it. But it's just like ginger and sushi. It just cleansed your palate, and then you're like, oh man, I actually really do like Magda. Well, we know you love Magda. That's like you're never gonna play anything else besides. But it's Kinnan. You can be like, oh man, I did miss Kinnan. I want to go back to that. Like, I can say, hey, play the Gruul Kinnan instead.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's definitely
sense.
if you help your friends or you give someone that palate cleanser, it can be. And they might not take it right away and actually build it. They might be like, oh, that's interesting. What about you, Chris? What's your way of helping prevent that burnout, that fatigue? Like, how do you help reset, like, either yourself or someone else?
Pull yourself away from the game. If you're not having fun, it's okay to miss the game for a little bit. Hey, oh man, I really liked playing this, but I'm not going to for a week or two. Take a week off, take 2 weeks off, go once again, see the grass. It's perfectly okay. There's a lot of different formats in Magic, and I absolutely love Magic because there's a competitive itch to it entirely. And being able to go play Modern, go check out Modern, go watch Modern, go play Cube, go watch Cube. There's a lot of different avenues to be able to get that same itch and just kind of remove yourself, because playing with 3 other people can be a lot. It can be a lot sometimes. Like, oh, I don't want to sit here and politic the entire day. I just want to play Magic and win. Pauper, great opportunity. Here at Turning Point Meta, we play a lot of different formats besides CEDH and EDH, and being able to reset and re-cleanse the palette with a different format, but the same great game that we all love is it just resets the body. Like for bodybuilders, right? If you're just doing the same kind of sets, cool. I'm gonna do 5 sets of my max. At some point in time, your body stops building because it's used to that. No, I'm gonna do 80% for 3 reps, and then I'm gonna change it up to 40% for 10 reps, and then I'm gonna do 3 reps of my max. And being able to change up that muscle memory actually builds muscle. It actually builds muscle. And in the same kind of way of being able to change up what you're doing makes the game fun, and it builds the muscle. It builds that capability of, they're playing this in this other format. I want to play this, like Psychic Frog. It's not really played heavily in CDH, but in Modern and in Legacy at one point in time, it was played everywhere, right? And being able to like swap between the two, like, ooh, I wonder if I could adapt this kind of style over to CEDH and the brewer's mindset, and being able to really like, have that itch of like, can this work? Let's try it out. And being able to try out different things opposed to cool Thassa's Oracle, Demonic, win. It's like at some point in time, changing it up. Protean Hulk. There's so many different ways to win the game, and being able to change up those different win lines. Stop playing the same win lines.
I was going to say that win line, changing it up is, maybe you're always about the Demonic Thassa's in CDH, but maybe you switch it up and you go play standard burn aggro. Mono red, just smack face. That's completely different than a Thassa's Demonic. And it just like you said, it's such a palate cleanser. Another thing you can always do is jump to another game. Maybe you go, if you have your local shop, maybe you ask the shop to see if they have the demo decks for One Piece or the other thing, and you maybe can ask to see if you can play that game and check it out. I'm not saying jump into a whole other card game, but it's always nice to see something else. Or Chris is a perfect one. Take a couple weeks off, man. The game's gonna be here. It's not gonna, like, you disappear for 2 weeks. It's not like you're gonna get back. Where'd my card shop go? So that's definitely something. Is a break is nice. So I agree with that. But I think one thing is have a good friend, a good play group. I know it's hard in some places. Sometimes you have to go to an LGS, but even an LGS, talk to the people there. Like if you start socializing, and I know it's hard sometimes, but just remember, being confident and not condescending, you start to get people to actually like, hey, we play Tuesdays at this other shop. Do you want to come play with us? And then it spans to this, and then next thing you know, you're playing at Joe Bob's on Thursdays at his house, and his wife makes this weird pizza, and you're like, oh, this is so cool, and you show up, and now you're getting Christmas cards from Job Bo. And that's the point. That's the gathering. We start to gather together, and you get these awesome play groups. And I think that's the biggest thing is look at building a play group. Don't just feel like you're in an echo chamber. People will listen. All right, you guys, remember, stay confident and not condescending. We'll see you guys next week. And remember, we have a Discord. Links down below. Follow me and Chris here on Twitter, and we'll set you guys next week.